What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and this is episode 3 of Subscriber Squads. In this episode, we're going to be bringing you 3 suggested teams from subscribers. And for this first team, I just wanted to mention I was going to use this in a previous episode, but they really underperformed. I understand the concept, and on paper it looks pretty good, but I have to say the Empowered ISO-8 really breathed life into this team. First off, we have the Inspiring Empowered ISO-8, which grants morale boost on our Generalist Angel. And then Hercules has the Vengeful Empowered ISO-8. This grants Big and Fast, which has chance to get an extra turn when hit while protecting. So just imagine Hercules, who's already known for counterattacking with some huge damage, and then on top of that he can gain an extra turn. This Empowered ISO makes him an absolute beast, and really helps his team out. And in case you're wondering, I did drop the Vigilante Toolkit and added the Ionic Sledge. And that way Hercules will protect more often. And with the Sledge, hopefully my agent can take advantage of all those finest hour buffs from Angel. Now on Hercules' turn, you already saw that we used Gift of Battle, so he did protect from Phantom X. He will counterattack that range attack with Rock of Ages, and then he also gained a Big and Fast proc. So there was a pretty big counterattack, and it wasn't even a critical hit. Now he also gets a turn on top of it. So right away we see the strength of that Empowered ISO-8, especially on someone like Hercules. Of course, there are some other good candidates like Bruiser Captain America in his World War II costume. And that's assuming that you have him at level 13. And there's certainly some other options as well. But back to the battle, we're going to use Column Down because it is catastrophic. It hits everyone for pretty decent damage, and stuns Phantom X. So now it's going to be our Angel's turn, and of course, he is a great support character. We will of course start with his level 2, a Quick Action Rapture. It's not going to do very much damage, so it really doesn't matter who we hit. Their agent ends up protecting and dodges it anyway. The good news is we do gain Follow the Lead, so now Angel will skip his next turn, and Hercules and our agent will gain a turn. Next up, we're going to use this level 9, and that's basically just to place Guardian Angel on Hercules. You may want to save this ability because it will heal someone for a ton of damage, but we place it on him just to give him a resurrection effect since he is our main protector. And there, he just protected against the holographic shield from the Vigilante Toolkit, and he counterattacks for 60,000 damage. So just like that, their agent is gone. Now they no longer have reality hacking, but they do still have quite a bit of avoidance, as evident by that misdirection, so we will miss with the Warbringer Axe. Now for our second turn, we're going to use the Light Fantastic, and that's to place Mirror Reality on all of our team. So the next attack against the character will heal them instead of doing damage. Angel uses his Absolution, which Hercules protects against. Now he's going to do his melee counterattack, so it's going to be the Pancration Pummel. And I think that's how you say that, but I'm not sure. Either way, it does 65,000 damage, and Angel's gone now as well. I figured we might as well make it 3 for 3, Hercules finishing their entire team. Now I can only imagine what Hercules would do at level 13, with his character Empowered ISO-8 as well. But swiftly moving on to the second team of the episode, we're using Human Torch and Cyclops. And this team received a ton of suggestions. I really wasn't sure which costumes to use, but I went with the Uncanny Blaster Cyclops and the Annihilus Bruiser Torch. And we're facing a Scrapper Quicksilver, a Juggernaut team, and I definitely believe they have the Dragon's Foot. So this is a pretty tough team right here. And as you can see, Quicksilver's doing a ton of damage right off the bat. I have to admit, this team made us a little bit nervous, and I figured it would be a pretty tough battle. One good thing is Quicksilver keeps getting hit with Plasma Body, so that is taking his health down quite a bit. Now with my agent, we're going to use his Quick Reflexes, and that will give us Combat Reflexes. Next, I'm really not sure what we want to do. We don't have the Light Fantastic yet, or else we would use that. Right now he is stealthy, so I could hit anyone, but instead we're going to use Blackest Void, and hope that the enemies attack each other. And no sooner than I say that he uses Warbringer Axe on his own Quicksilver. It would be even funnier if Quicksilver hit his own team with Tag Team. Now on Cyclops' turn, we're going to use Evasive Maneuvers and gain Combat Awareness. Next, for no good reason, we're going to use Mega Optic Blast. And I really think this was a terrible decision. It really wasn't a good time for it, and one of the main problems is we get hit with a huge blast from the past. So you probably guessed it, we're going to get counterattacked, and Cyclops is out of this battle. Alright, so it's just down to Johnny Storm and our agent, but I still think we can win this one. As long as Human Torch stays alive, I think we have a chance. The enemy Juggernaut first uses Surge of Sidorak, and then he uses Mountain Crusher on our agent. So I'll be honest, that was a pretty lucky break, and now we're going to counterattack. We also gain Cosmic Control Rod, so he will get hit by an Annihilation Wave. Let's see if Juggernaut can live through this Brawl counterattack. And he actually does, so he's going to get hit with an Annihilation Wave. It does 51,000 damage, way more than I could have imagined. Now we decide to use a Nova Blast, and that finishes everyone in the battle, except for the Human Torch. Well, I really wanted to include that battle, even though it was kind of fluky. But since it was, or could be considered a fluke, or maybe luck, I decided to play another match with this team. I still think that Nova Blast finish was pretty awesome. This time we're facing Quicksilver once again, but he's paired up with his father, Magneto. He is a generalist, so he's not going to get a follow-up attack against our agent, but he's also not going to enrage the Human Torch. He will, however, keep taking that plasma body damage, as well as some burning. So once our Human Torch gets a turn, we're probably going to use his level 2 on Quicksilver. And that level 2 fireball will do tons of damage to an enemy, especially if they're already burning. So let's go ahead and see what it'll do to Quicksilver. It does 53k and takes him out of the battle. Now their agent uses the Protector of Adelan, and then he also uses the cube Blackest Void. So now everyone except for Human Torch is disoriented, so I kinda have to be wary of that. I don't want to attack my own teammates. So instead of risking an attack, we'll just do the Blackest Void right back on their team. Unfortunately, it does miss Magneto, so he's gonna attack next, and it looks like he's gonna use a Heavy Metal, which could potentially stun us. It completely misses, and we get to counterattack Magneto. Now hopefully our Cyclops is going to stay alive longer this time. Like always, we start with our quick action evasive maneuvers. Then we're just going to use a regular optic blast on their agent. This is going to place flanked on him, which could come in very handy. On Human Torch's turn, we could use pretty much any of his abilities, but we're going to start out with his level 1. So we use Flame Stream, which he dodges quite a bit of, but we also get to place burning on the target. Then, due to flanked, we get a follow-up Flame Stream. And the reason why I like this is because it's a multi-hit attack, and I knew that we have really high evades on both of our agents. So at least we'll land some of those hits and also place burning. But he does erase that right away with the Light Fantastic. Right now our cube's Blackest Void is on cooldown, so whatever we do against these targets is going to heal them. Basically our options right now are either to pass our turn, or to try to do as little damage as possible and get rid of that mirror reality. We use the Wrist Slinger because yes, it does heal him, but it also places weakened and slowed. So at least we get the benefit of those debuffs. Then our Cyclops is Finish the Fight passive procced, so we get to do another attack. This time we're going to go with the Holographic Shield. I was hoping to place some more of those Paragon Exploiter debuffs. Unfortunately, he did dodge. Then he also dodges our Annihilation Wave. Next, their Magneto is going to use the Electromagnetic Blast on our agent. But we get a dodge of our own and a counterattack. Too bad that counterattack heals Magneto back to full health. With Cyclops, we're going to place flanked back on the agent. Now we're just trying to set him up to be taken down, hopefully by the Human Torch. Oh, and there you see our Explosive Empowered ISO 8 proc. It has collateral damage, so single target attacks have a chance to do splash damage. And that ISO can only be equipped by a blaster. This time on Johnny's turn, we're going to use the Fireball first, and then he will follow up with that Flame Stream. This agent is taking very little damage, and that's kind of prolonging the battle. Still, we're in complete control, and they really haven't done any damage to our team. On this turn, I was pretty happy that their agent used the axe rather than the cube. They would have been much better off using the improbability field. And also we get to counterattack them twice. He dodges what could potentially have been a pretty decent hit, and then we're going to do a brawl as well. It does just under 12k damage, and we're getting them pretty close to the end. On our agent's turn, we're definitely going to use the improbability field. This is one of my favorite parts of the cube. So it's going to place a ton of debuffs on all the enemies, and then it's going to buff our team. And it gives Human Torch Strengthened, which is pretty amazing. Right away, their Magneto is going to take damage from a number of dots. This is all thanks to the improbability field. We actually have to wait a little while for all the text to stop. And I wish that this would go a little bit faster, but finally their Magneto is going to get to attack. And we do protect against it. It does a little bit of damage, but not much at all. And we're going to do a double counterattack. First, the retractable claw. Okay, he tricked us and went with the brawl first instead. Then the retractable claw. Magneto is finished from counterattacks. Now with Cyclops, we're going to use his level 2 exploit weakness. He already has flank, so we know we'll do a follow-up attack, and that will be with the optic blast. And if that doesn't finish him, we also get a cosmic control rod proc, as well as finish the fight. So basically their agent wasn't going to make it past that turn. Now on to the third and final team of the episode. Now this team up might surprise you. Not the idea itself, because of course Ant-Man goes with Wasp. In fact, I always plan to make this as a team spotlight episode, and I believe I will in the future. The real surprising part is how they do very well in PvP. At least for me they did. I used them in rated battles in this last PvP tournament. That's how confident I was in this team. Especially with the Empowered ISO 8. On Hank Pym, I have the Protective Empowered ISO 8. This gives him Savant, so he starts combat with a shield that absorbs damage. Then on Wasp, I have the Blurred Empowered ISO 8. This grants Reflections, so she starts the combat with mirror images. And she's already a pretty hard target to hit. The debuffs that these two can apply really can disrupt an enemy team, and you're going to see that throughout this battle. We're not facing a pushover team. This is Ares and Elektra, one of the popular teams from the last tournament. And I faced plenty of other really good teams with this combination, and they worked quite well. But it definitely does help to have Ares attack his own agent. That's why I love Disoriented so much. After that Art of War, we are going to get a counterattack as well. So we counter with the Guardian of Adelan. Next up is Wasp. With Wasp, we're probably going to use her level 6 ability, and I'll show you exactly what that does. It hits all enemies and places off balance on them. It also gives her Nimble, which says she has a high chance to avoid melee and ranged attacks. So like I said, she is very hard to hit. She might not do major damage with this ability, but it does add up. And of course she places off balance on all the enemies. And that's pretty much invaluable. Now right after their agent attacks us with the Guardian of Adelan, you're going to see one of Wasp's passives kick in. This is called Opportunist. Wasp has a chance to counterattack when an enemy with staggered, distraction, off balance, cornered, or dizzy attacks Wasp or an ally. So she counterattacks with the Buzzkill. Hank Pym's passive is the smartest man in the room, so each round he triggers a new analysis. This round he triggered Conjecture, so his attacks ignore most avoidance effects. This of course will come in very handy, especially against teams that have the Cube, or maybe the Vigilante Toolkit or anything like that. At least it should in theory. Now with Pym, we're going to use the Goliath Punch on Ares. It does 37,000 damage. Elektra attacks Hank Pym with Ancient Art and places Internal Bleeding wide open and flanked. So the worst part about that is probably flanked. So what we want to do is use the Light Fantastic. That's going to heal everyone, remove our debuffs other than Internal Bleeding, and then the next hit against us of course will heal. With Wasp, we were kind of deciding whether or not to use her level 9 yet. But what I think I'm going to do is use her level 2. The amazing thing about this is Staggered is actually even better now. This was before the changes to it. So Wasp could be even more useful in PvP now. In fact, I'm sure there's plenty of team-ups out there to be discovered. Right now it's going to be their agent's turn, so let's see what he does. He does have the Watcher, so he decides to use that on Hank Pym. Due to mirror reality, we heal instead of get hurt. But the worst thing about the Watcher is it does place distraction on us. Unfortunately for them, it doesn't matter because we're going to use Bug Squashing, Hank Pym's level 9. And that finishes both of the opponents. So that's just a glimpse of these PvP teams. And I really do have to say I loved using Wasp and Hank Pym. It was a lot of fun, and I'm sure most people wouldn't expect getting beat by them. And that's going to wrap up this 3rd episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. And remember, if you suggested one of these teams and I happen to miss your name, just go ahead and leave me a message and I will place it in the very next episode. Thank you all for watching, and please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more videos. Until next time, good luck and take care.